Let's make sure my phone is charging. Okay, so we have 3%. Life is supposed to be meaningful. It's supposed to have a purpose. Not a purpose of, oh, I need to get up. I need to brush my teeth. I need to wash my body. No, what is the purpose of all of that? Right? What makes that meaningful? Well, you'll be a lot more cleaner, a lot less smellier. But what is the purpose for my life? What makes my life so meaningful? You know, it's not just waking up. What's the purpose, right? What is the purpose that I am here? I exist. What's the purpose of being in a world like this among such things and people? What's the point? You know? And if you ask someone, or if you ask a group of people, they'll all have different reasons. Some may feel it's meaningless. It's only meaningless when there is no purpose. Okay, 4%, great. It's only meaningless if there's no purpose. There's no ending. There's no there's no reason, right? And we all want to know that what we're doing matters. There's a reason. Not even that there's a reward at the end, but my God, like there's something to show for it. There's something that will be changed or transformed, right? We work, labor to receive compensation. So it makes it purposeful, meaningful. Some may say that they love their job and it changes people's lives. It saves lives. It makes it meaningful. That's the reason. That's the purpose. Okay. But that's not the purpose I'm speaking of. Hmm? As a whole, why the existence of this? You see, this exists, death, sickness, right? Evil, good, predators, prey. Just the worst things among the innocents. All of it exists intertwined together. What is the purpose? What is that purpose? Right? And then you have certain individuals like I that make a difference in it by speaking about it, acknowledging it, praying to the Father, pleading to Him with my testimonies. Yes, so that gives me purpose. It gives me a purpose in all of this existence. Besides going to work, besides getting compensated, besides saving lives and helping people, besides all that, This didn't have to exist, right? People sick, death didn't have to exist. People, you know, giving up, not helping themselves didn't have to exist. This all could have been avoided. All of it. And these burdens wouldn't exist. People wouldn't have to carry it. Not for me, you wouldn't have to carry my burdens. I wouldn't have to carry yours. It just didn't have to exist, but it does. You see, it just does. This existence. And what is the purpose? Because now this is just what you have to do. This is what you have to see because this is the life you're living in. You know, you do find that it's ultimately people's choices. Right? And then you again, you keep realizing the purpose of life, the purpose in this life is to just figure out who you are, what type of person you are, what type of person you are, you know? What are your limits? What makes you tick? Like what you don't like, what you do like. You learn about yourself. You do. Oh my gosh, you do. You know, you're here, you come here as a baby and then you grow. You know, you grow into this well built up person filled with, you know, realization of oneself, of the world, of people. You grow with understanding. You grow with understanding. But yeah, you're here, right? Someone could say, "Oh, I was thrown here." Well, you were thrown here, thrown into this. Someone out there would say, "It's a blessing." Yeah, yeah, you know, because if you didn't exist, you just didn't. But you do, so now you know. Now you know you exist. But you were thrown into this, and you have no choice. You know, yeah, there's free will. Yeah, there's choice, but you ultimately you have no choice. Like you have no choice but to be here. And yes, there are people trying to find ways to, you know, leave from this world. You know, I'll wait for the aliens to come pick me up. I'm good. You know, rather than trying to create something, I'll rather wait to get picked up. I'm okay. I can wait. Because if it was intended for me to leave from this place, I would. I don't have to necessarily do anything. But so just alone on that topic, getting to know oneself in this world, you have no choice. Because again, you're around such things. Oh my goodness. That the eyes have no choice to see. Mm. You know, once you see these things, you can't unsee them. You know, you learn. You say, "Oh wow, this is what happens when you don't take care of yourself. This is what happens to the body." You know, because the body's already I mean, once you reach a certain point in your life, the body starts to go down, right? But in the beginning, it goes up, right? And that's why you see the growth spurt the like it, child, like that time in a person's cycle of life, like the growth spurt is like fast, right? From a baby to a toddler, all the way up until a teenager, and then they reach their adulthood. So it goes up, their growth. And then you reach a certain point and, gravity just wins. And you go down, you go down, you go back down, back down. So I'm saying that to say the body will deteriorate, regardless. Will slow down, let's say that. You don't have to slow down, but the body will start slowing down because it's working. It's always been working. It's its own life, its own system. That's what makes it so precious, and it should be cherished and taken great care of. But we're not perfect, but it's great to be reminding. It's great to be reminded of this because the body is running. It's running so fast. It's working so hard, especially while we're young. Naturally, it's like a natural working, right? And that motion is like natural. But it comes a time where the body gets tired of working because the body wasn't made to keep going. It wasn't made to last forever. The natural body, like they call it. And that's just the way the natural state was made. It was made to be for a time. You can find beauty in it. You can find God in it because that's how God created it. So you realize a lot here. And in most ways you have no choice. I mean, seriously, I just, what was it, last week? I've been living where I've been living for years, over, like 10 years. I've been living here without any issue and things like that. I've been safe for the most part. And one afternoon around 3, I heard someone. I had my trash in front of my window. My window was open. My fan was in the window, and I was laying on my bed. And I heard someone like open my trash. So I'm like, okay. So I get up and I look out the window and I see this strange lady appearing through my window. Not my bedroom window where I was, but looking through my blinds, like looking through. Well, and I think so I had my blinds, but I had my curtains black. So even if she was looking through the blinds, because the blinds were open, she couldn't see in because it was black. So I'm looking at her. She doesn't see me, and she's just looking through my window. And she looks strange. She has bags in her hands. She's made herself comfortable. I had a chair in front of my door. She had her boots in my chair. She had her bags in front of my door. And I said, "Can I help you?" Straight up, "Can I help you?" And she like pauses, and then she looks around, and she kind of comes closer to the window I'm at. I said, "Do you need something?" And she says, and it's the way I said it that was so stern that I could tell that she took it very as she should have, right? Like she started shaking her head like, "Okay, so you're in my house, you're paying, this is my house." This is what she's saying. She's saying, "This is my house. Um, I'm paying rent with her card." And I said, leave from this place, like leave from my door, right? Like I'm not entertaining this. So I'm like, leave from my door. Move away from my door. And she says, "Get your out my house." You could tell this woman's deranged. She looks crazy. She looks crazy. And she's like, "Yeah, get out. This is my house. How you gonna tell me to get out my house?" I said, "Move away from my house, like move away from my door, leave from my door, sort of thing. I'm calling the police." And she said, "Okay, call the police." So I act like I'm getting my phone because I'm not in fear. And yes, I could have, but in a moment, I'm giving her this grace, right? I'm like, so I get my phone and I go back to the window, and I said, she starts grabbing her bags. I said, "No, no, no, stay right here. They're on their way." Stay right here. They're on their way. And she started, she cursed and something, but she was getting her stuff. She was getting her stuff. And, of course, she couldn't just walk away quietly. She's just like, you something. And then she walked off. And in that moment, I didn't feel fear. I didn't feel scared or anything like that. But I did have thoughts. Like, I'm like, if this lady came back, I was going to be ready to like pepper spray her, like I would have been ready to pepper spray her through the window, just because she came back. But I stood at the window just to see, like, I've never seen this lady before. You could tell she was homeless or whatever the case may be. She wasn't even an old lady. She seemed to be, judging from her looks, she seemed to be maybe in her early 40s, very, very thin. She was a African American woman, and she kind of had like marks on her face. And I watched her walk away. She walked down, and I seen her. I stood at my window for at least another 10 minutes just to see, like. And she walked up to someone else's door, and then she turned around. And I'm not sure if someone said something to her, because the person door that she walked up to, they were in the car. And I didn't know they were in the car at that time, but I guess once she turned around, it was like a minute later, someone like in front of that door in that car came out. So they could have been like, "Do you need something?" I don't know. But she kind of walked up to the door, and then she stood there, and then she turned around. She didn't even um, stay or anything like that. And then she started walking, and then she was out of my view. I couldn't see her no more. And then maybe 2 minutes later, I seen her start walking back up toward where I am, but she went back. And then after that, I she left. I also stood there to see if she would come back to record her as well, just so that I can have evidence of like who this lady is, what she looks like. But it was bizarre, of course. something like that is bizarre. She was saying bizarre things, looking bizarre, because again, she's saying, I'm in her house. Mind you, I've been in this this place for 10 years, so obviously um, there's some mental issues there. But I say this because, yes, it was last week. Yes, it was just recently. But there are things that you have no choice but to see. You have no choice but to witness. My goodness. And this is probably nothing to someone. Ooh, ooh. I'm not trying to compare it. No, I'm sure. I'm sure. I don't even live in the city. I'm like 30 minutes from the city. So it doesn't have to be in the city, clearly, but wherever there's homelessness more prominent, I'm sure there's much more recurrence. But yeah, so just that alone, just to give you a personal example, no one expects that, right? To that extent. And you don't have a choice because this is someone else's choice, someone else's decision. And you just have to face it, right? You just have to stay ready. You just have to be strong, you know. You can't be weak and all those things. You can't, you know. And I personally am a person that I do live like a suburban person. I have those natural, and before we even knew it to be suburban way, right? Because I only learned it to be that way because of how people speak, right? What they say. But before it was that, it was like, no, this is what I'm used to. This is how I'm used to living, right? I'm used to having the door open. Maybe there's a screen door, right? I grew up with a screen door, but the door was open during the day, right? During the summer or whatever. The windows were open because maybe you were mopping and it was a community. You didn't think none of it. It wasn't the way some other people treat it. Like, you don't do it because you think you're better. You don't do it because you're trying to show off or show what you have. Like, no, you do it because that's the way you want to live. You want to live comfortably. If you want your window open, you have your window open. I want my window open because I want fresh air. Right? I'm not thinking about people coming up to my window looking through it. That's the last thing on my mind, because again, that's what I grew up seeing, right? Like, the door open. And I also did grow up without not needing to stay on guard in that way, because nothing, as we know, once things happen to you, then that's when you start to change the ways that you were doing things. But I naturally am a person like that. Like, right now, I like my windows open. I like to see out of it. It's not, oh, I want people to look in to see what I'm doing. Really, I don't. I don't want that. There's nothing in here, really. Um, I do it because I want to feel free as much as I can with still being contained. I I like the windows open. I like to see. I like to see. Um, Even sometimes in the early mornings, not like when it's still dark, but when it's bright out, I'll open the door, I'll crack it, and I'll be in the living room, but I'll crack it. I don't do it so much often now, but I've done it. I've done it. And somewhere, maybe even next door, they would never do that. Ever. They would advise to never do that because they've encountered something, or they just finished watching Law and Crime. I understand. I do. And so, with that being said, truthfully, when that happened, I naturally started thinking that way. I'm like, oh, wow, okay, let me see if I need a camera. Because again, I'm that type of person where I'm not gonna buy a camera. I've never had a camera. And I will say that because it's just the truth. I mean, I live like it. I'm sure people can see that I don't, right? Because when you walk and you see others' doors, you see who has a camera, who doesn't have a camera. I'm a person that naturally does not fear, so my mind doesn't go to, oh, I need a camera. But of course, when that deranged lady came, um, it made me naturally think like, oh, I need a camera, because if she came back, if I wasn't home, I need to just have her on record, right? Just have her on record. So it's not a bad thing to have a camera. And so I naturally started looking for a camera. And I'm like, ugh, okay. So I saved it in my cart. And I looked at a few other things. So yes, it's true. When things do happen to you, it changes the way that you're naturally living, the way you naturally like to live. And yes, it is unfortunate because you just can't live the way you want to live. Because again, you got to remember where you're at, in the world like this. And so that's just give you an example of what I mean, that you can't choose, what you're going to see for the most part. You can't choose who you're going to meet. They're all here. Like, all deranged and all. They're all here. I work with them as well. So I told my brother, I said, listen, I ain't entertaining that. I ain't got time for it. I was very patient with the lady. I was very, well, I don't know what patient really means in that situation, but I given her the benefit of the doubt because I didn't want to judge her, but it was obvious. I'm like, but even still, I've had someone peep through my window before, because again, you're not announcing yourself. You're not, You're taking your time out to look through a window. You're a peeping Tom. I don't care who you are. And those people happen to be from the leasing office, right? Because again, I think they were walking around or whatever you call it, and I think my window blinds were up. So from the outside, all you see is darkness. And I can understand that, but I don't know that. All I know is that I'm hearing something in front of my door. You might have even touched my doorknob just to see if it was, why are you touching my doorknob, sir? So I have every right to respond how I'm responding. I'm like, can I help you? Mind you, I'm speaking through the window. I'm not opening up my door. Because they're peeping through the window, and they jump back. I'm like, can I help you? Very stern, very confident. Can I help you? Oh, we were just checking what? You could have called me because again, they're not saying who they are. We were just checking it just seeing, we didn't know someone lived here. Again, patience. See, this is where patience comes from, because I could have been like, really, nigga? You know what I mean? But I'm like, yes, there is someone that lives here. For 10 years. Oh, okay, yeah, we're from the leasing office, so it just, we were just checking. Again, assuming that from the outside, looking through my window from far, it just looks dark. So, and there was no blinds, so my blinds were up. But regardless, I even heard it was a woman and a man. I heard, and the man rattled my doorknob. I said, "What are you touching my doorknob for?" He didn't answer. He didn't answer. I said, well, there's different ways you could verify if someone still lives here. You could have called. You could have looked in the system. I didn't say those things because it was obvious. It was obvious that they were coming from some other unit, maybe a vacant unit, and just happen to look and be like, why does that why through those windows it looks like no one's living there? Why does it look vacant from here? Why does it look dark? Why is there no blinds? So I think it was just a random check. But again, I've had it happen last year. And so when this lady did it just last week, I still was just like, okay. But I knew she wasn't no regular person. And like I said, for the most part, I have been safe. And I've been here for 10 years. I've been here since I was 19. I was turning 20 in 5 days, but I've been here since I was 20, I'm 30 now. But the things that you witness is beyond you. And that's what I mean. Like, I also mean that you do need to be covered. You need to be protected by some higher source, something invisible. I was ready though. I was ready. I was ready to pepper spray her. I was ready to use whatever I had. Um, just cause like just cause I don't play those games. And just because I haven't dealt with like those issues, I still do in my job. Like I still deal with people, right? I know how people can act. I know how crazy they can be. I know, even when I work in the psych, work around psych, yeah, like no one has time for that, you know. Or just if you've been in an emergency room, no one has time for that. And I naturally come from a very quiet place. I'm coming from that sort of place. I'm not coming from a place of like all of this chaos. No one wants chaos, but I also don't come from chaos. I don't welcome it. But I can get there, right? I can stand. I can hold my own, of course. And no one deserves, to see such things. No one deserves to be around such things, but we have no choice, right? Because we can't stay in a box. No, we can't. We have to witness this. And then acknowledge it. We have to, testify about it. Because it's the truth. Like, this exists. Deranged people. So it's just like, what's the purpose? Again, you can distract yourself. You can strap yourself up. You can do all this, but it's still not like addressing it. It's still not addressing the reasons, right? Because I could have been like, okay, I'm getting that camera. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. No, I mean, I can. I probably will eventually, what the heck, I guess. Like, just to have evidence, right? Because that's the big thing. No one would have been seeing it unless someone caught it on their camera. but I couldn't show it, right? I couldn't show what this lady looked like. I couldn't. What if I forgot what time she came by? Or like, I get it. It's great for evidence, and nowadays you need evidence for it to be proven, right? Physically. Now God's seen it. Oh, holy God's seen it. But if you're going to man about these things, like, yeah, this lady is trespassing and she tried to get in my house. Okay, well, who is this lady? What does she look like? What time was it? And uh, do you have videos surveillance, videotape or whatever? So it is important to have evidence at the end of the day to prove your innocence, to prove it. So that would be the only reason why I would get something like that. But naturally, I don't live like that. I don't live thinking I need those things. It's just not something in my mind naturally. That's it. Now, if I think really deep about those things and I say, oh, those are great things, and you may need it for evidence, but I don't naturally, my mind doesn't go there, because if it did, I would have had it from the beginning. I would have had it 10 years ago when I was freaking 19. You understand me? So, yeah. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, well, the first thing it wouldn't be, oh, because God protects me. I mean, I'm not that type of person. Now, it would be in my philosophy, but I wouldn't start off saying that, because I still know I still need to do what I need to do for myself, of course. Because I do know that I'm covered, but but there's a thin line. Like, that's a whole nother topic. What does that really mean, to be covered? I can still go through things. I can still get things, right? Um, I've gone through a lot of things, right? To an extent. I've always been safe. I'm still healthy. But it's like being scared straight. I've been scared straight. I've been in situations where it's just like, oh, okay, so this is what's out here, right? Like, this is what can happen. This could have happened to me. This, I could have gotten this, or I could have done. So I'm not gonna sit here and say, oh, I'm covered and nothing could ever happen. No. If anything, I'm one of the toughest soldiers. So it's like, I'm sure I'm gonna get the hardest battles. Like, I'm sure of that. I'm gonna see some things. He's gonna put me to the darkest places. And as you see, that's what I mean. I wasn't scared. I wasn't fearful. I actually was ready. I was ready. And that can be a dangerous thing, and that can also be a really very great thing. I'm just glad that he keeps me. That's it. Like, he keeps me away from certain people to that extent, because sometimes you don't know your limits, right? If someone's trying you, and you just warn them, like, just don't, please don't bother me, please don't, okay? Because I don't play about people I love, and I dang sure don't play about me when it comes to my safety. And I've been safe, so that's even, that's to show you. I don't know what I would do, but I'm dang sure not gonna take it easy. So, like I was saying, the purpose of life is to realize who you are, how you'd react, so that you can know oneself. Like, I know that I have a lot of integrity. I know that I have pride, and I'm learning to naturally put my pride aside. And the reason is because I've been building myself up, so it comes with integrity, it comes with pride, but there's a time and place for it. And not even that, but that when you're building yourself up, it builds you, right? It toughens you. And I'm at a point in my life where, as you can see, I can be a bit softer, I can heal. So I'm seeing that I can naturally put it aside. Not that I'm choosing to, because it's not that easy to choose to, but I see this naturally. I'm naturally maturing into a time in my life where, I can be vulnerable, be the softer side of me. I mean, I'm 30, so it makes sense. I mean, my goodness. I feel like it's the perfect age, the perfect time anyway. And I don't feel behind. I don't feel like that at all. I mean, you really start to realize who you are in your 30s. My 20s, I'm healing from childhood trauma and just being in my 20s, being still a young person, I guess. And with my situation, I don't know what to say. I mean, I have responsibilities. I moved out when I was 19, so just dealing with that. But it gave me time to just be by myself and whatever God had intended for me. So now that I'm 30 and I'm maneuvering in that, in the 30 range, it's a great thing to know that I'm starting to see the vulnerable side, the more softer side, the side of me, right? Because they're all sides of me, but I do know that, the softer, the vulnerable side is the more natural side, because I can laugh, I can be joyful, I can be jolly, like I remember me to be. So you realize these things about yourself, living in a world like this, and you can question it right now and say, who am I? What have I learned? What have I learned about myself? I've learned that I'm strong, simply. That's number one. That stands out. I'm a very strong woman, like mentally. Of course, I can always work on the physical, right? I can do my push-ups, I can do my cardio, I can work on the physical, but like who I am, very strong, strong-willed, strong mind. So I've learned that, and being strong sometimes to the world makes you seem tough. So I guess I'm tough, right? But that's what I mean. I'm a lot of things. I am tough. I can come off tough. Naturally, I am. Well, I say naturally because naturally it's part of my personality. I am like a. There's titles for these things. People call it a tomboy, but it was only like a childhood title. I wouldn't call myself a tomboy today. I'm grown. I'm just who I am, right? But I am a little rough sometimes. Like I don't like I do what I want to do. I don't know if that to me it's not rough, to me it's not tough, but that's why I said to the world when they see a woman like that, what do you consider her? You see what I mean? Even if you don't mean wrong. The words people use, it's just their wording, but they kind of all mean the same thing. To just a person that wants to simplify it, it's just a free spirited woman. But yeah, like I'm not gonna listen to you because you're a man. I'm not gonna listen to you because you're a older person, right? So that may seem to the world that I am not just stubborn, but I'm they could look at it as so many things, right? Take it so many different ways. But to me, the reason why, right, if you just ask the person that's the person, the reason why I'm not going to listen to just you because you're a man is because what is that? What does that mean? Like, what do you mean? What does a man have to do with it? Right? I don't see it like that. I don't see it to be, oh, because you're a man, you know all, do all. No, it's not true. I listen to individuals that I can trust. I listen to individuals that I love, that loves me. I listen to individuals that my spirit just connects to. That's it. Whether you're male or female. I'm not going to listen to you because you're older than me. No, I'm not listening to you. I'm going to listen to an elder that has wisdom. Yes. I'm going to listen to, most importantly, I'm going to listen to whatever my spirit drives me to. Like if I click on something and I'm listening to it and I just feel like I don't want to listen to it anymore, then I'm just going to click off it. But all of a sudden I'm listening and I find that I'm intrigued, I'm going to stay there, right? Sometimes I'll listen to my spirit and if my spirit likes it, I'm going to listen to it. It has nothing to do with if you're younger than me, older than me. You see, that's where my philosophy comes from. It comes natural to me. Whereas I don't have to listen to the world or what other people say, like, oh, you should respect your elders. Who said that? Why? Hmm? You see, that's where the rebellious comes from. People like me were considered rebellious because you see, it would be considered rebellious. Why? Now, when I say it's not coming from a prideful place, it's not coming from um, a quote unquote rebellious place, it's not coming from that. I just know from history, just because you're older than me doesn't make you right. I've seen that firsthand. So seeing that when I was younger, now that I'm older, I'm still gonna be the same way. Like I know what's up. Whereas if you were not me, didn't go through the things I went through, or don't have my philosophy, then you're gonna listen to these people because that's what you're told to do. You will listen to them because they're older and you expect them and think and believe that they know better. But I knew from the beginning that these older folks don't always have the best interest for you, don't always have fair treatment, don't always do what they're supposed to do. You see, I had that training when I was younger, and that's where my philosophy comes from without having to seek other people's approval about it. Whether they're family, whether they're older than me, it doesn't matter. They can still betray you, they can still treat you unfairly, they can still be corrupt. And it's like, okay, now people are waking up to it. It's always been this way. But because you've never seen it, because you've never witnessed it, I get it, I understand, but I have, right? And that is the training that I've been through. I already knew this. So now that I am an adult, it's not surprising. I'm not tricked, I'm not fooled so easily, right? You have to be very slick. But again, to the world it may come off tough, but it's not. And that's the thing, when the world doesn't know the reason, the way you are, they expect you to be, I don't know, some people expect you to be naive about certain things, and if you're not, then wow, you're just this strong black woman, you're just this, yeah, as I should be. It's kind of become a negative thing, and I mean, personally, I don't really care, because you see, I wouldn't entertain such foolery. If you feel that way about certain women or the way they are, that's fine. That's you're entitled to feel that way. But I'm also not entitled to entertain you or be around you or need to talk with you or be friends with you. Simply. Because if you don't like those things, then you wouldn't like me. Simply. And there's a lot of men that wouldn't like me. You understand me? Maybe on the surface, but once they actually get to know me, I'm going to be like, listen, I know you really wouldn't like me. You wouldn't really like me. Mm-mm. Especially if you're egotistical. You think that a man is this and all these rules, and no, you wouldn't like me. We wouldn't get along. So that's why, my philosophy is you shouldn't be pressed. You shouldn't be pressed about or so desperate about finding a partner, finding a man, finding a husband. Nah, like, needing to look this way, needing to dress like this, needing to talk like this, you're only feeding the beast. You're only feeding the beast in their philosophies. You're only feeding their ego. Do you see? Like, oh, I need to present myself this way to these egotistical people. These people that already have rules and regulations for you. They have rules and regulations for you before you even stepped foot in front of them. How about that? Why would you even want to consider such people? When you are your own person, they should accept you the way you are. Of course, you need improvement. Of course, you need, always. But this person is saying that you should do this. You only do this. Almost like you come second. And who comes first? Because to me, the only person first that comes first is God. And believe it or not, is these women your husbands and wives? Because you're not even my husband. You're not even my wife. These people want husband and wives positions and treatment. It doesn't make sense. Give me 1 second. So that's where my philosophy comes from. It's pretty simple. My philosophy comes from the fact that if you just be your own individuality, if you just be your own individual, your own person, things will be more simple. You won't be so easily fooled, or it'll save you. Yeah, you'll be alone. You'll be alone a lot more. But that's the beautiful part about it. You'll be waiting, right? Waiting for your princess or your prince, whatever you want to call it. You'll be waiting for your person. And it's better to wait than to keep making mistakes or it gives you discipline. It builds you up. You learn patience, all the natural things that everyone needs in life that school can't teach you. That takes time, and you have all this time to teach yourself. And that's where the door is very narrow, because who wants to wait? Who wants to wait? Who wants to be alone? Who wants to make it hard for themselves when they can take control and go out there and And again, it's your choice. I'm just saying this is who I am for the most part. So realizing who you are in this life is really what it comes down to. Because you're just facing these things right on. Like these things are being thrown at you left and right. You're in positions that you never thought you'd be in. You're around people with situations that you never thought to witness. You're seeing it, right? And then it's your reaction. It's how you react to it, right? You find things to be disgusting. You're like, ugh, this is disgusting. I don't want to do this. You know? You find you don't have a stomach for it. You find, okay, this is not my passion. You know, when you find that, who am I? Right? You find your passion, you find your purpose. And that's how you do. Right? You're among things, and then you have to choose what's best for you. Right? Do you like to see the flesh? Do you like to not open up, but are you able to stomach it? Okay, well then you might could be a surgeon, because you can tolerate seeing such things, the smells. We need people like that, right? That's yourself telling you what you're able to do, what you can do, and even what you might want to do. Now, if you can't tolerate seeing things like that, if you can't tolerate smells, and that's yourself telling you that's not it. Keep going. keep going, right? It's simple. It could be very simple. Now, yes, unfortunately, we're in positions where sometimes we have no choice because the money's better, because it's convenient. It's maybe we've gotten the job offer. Okay, and that's all right. Because there's always still time. We still have to work toward it, and we still have to make money in the meantime. But we never stop reaching for what we find is our purpose or our passion, especially if we know it. So you realize who you are, what you're good at, and what you want to do, what you want to be. That's the purpose. That's the purpose of why we're here. Yes, the purpose is, the will of the Father. That purpose. That mission, right? We're here to see such things and testify about it. I mean, I don't get how you couldn't. If you're in the midst of all of this chaos, I'm sure you're gonna scream, you're gonna plead, you're gonna cry out, help me! You're gonna do something. Oh my God! You're gonna call out. It's expected, like, to wake up. This is not normal. What is this, Father? What are you doing? Where are you? When are you coming? It's normal to wonder, like, to ask questions, to stand. And everyone's saying, don't stand. Stand. Tired of sitting. You can tell me what not to do. I am my own person. Stop telling me what to do. You see, that comes off rebellious to people that have rules. But understandably, I'm my own person. And believe it or not, these people that have these rules are just a person. They're not a god. They're just little old man as well. And that's what makes it even worse. You're not even my master. Like, you're not even a god, and you're trying to control me. Leave me alone. Stop telling me what to do. Don't touch me. You know, it's all those things. Like, how dare you? Now, if you're wrong, then you're wrong, though. Okay? You can't be a Karen and be trying to play like you just innocent. You know, you can't be deranged and expect no one to question it. You know, remove you from their premises because you trespassing, because you acting belligerent and you acting just deranged. No, that's different. But I'm speaking on just my rights. Like, if I don't like something or I find something to be questionable, why can't I question it without being labeled? Now, yes, you have a choice to label me because in society I would be an odd one out, right? If you're questioning something, they're gonna look at you closely. They're gonna start looking at you, just like God will look at you because you're standing out. It's the same thing. Everyone's quiet, and you're, for some reason, the talkie. What's wrong with her? They're already thinking you're different. Why is she so talkie? What is she saying? Right? It brings more of it magnifies who you are. And you're just being you. You're not trying to be magnified. You're not trying to stand out. Right? Because there are ones that will do things for attention. And then we have them. That's what I mean. You can't just speak logical without speaking typical. See the little kitty. Unfortunately, I can never just speak straight. I gotta speak for them too, because they exist. And the ones that do things for attention just, I mean, to me, it's they're not hurting me, right? Like when people say things like, oh, they're, you know, like if I said this person's an imposter because they're receiving the things that I believe I should have received. Okay, when I'm young, if I was younger, then maybe it could bother me in a way. But I'm older now, and I know who I expect to give me my reward. Not even just expect, but who I would want to give me my rewards, or just give me recognition. You know, who I want to hear they're proud of me. You know, like I know who I want that person to be. So you can be an imposter all day. You're not hurting me. You can receive your rewards while we're here from the world, right? Like if you're, it's okay. It's okay. Because I know I'm real. I know I'm true. And I know God knows that. Now, if the world doesn't know it and they just see you, if you're the one publicized, right? Because there's so many figures, so many great figures, and not all are publicized. Not everyone knows, not everyone listens, not everyone sees. It's okay. It's okay because here's the thing. The real ones, we're not doing it for views. I wasn't doing it necessarily like to be seen in that way, to get a reward or like, no, I started to do it because I needed to for my sanity. I yelled out, I pleaded, I started to speak because I couldn't take it no more. That's forefront, right? The intention was never, oh, let me speak out and yell so I can be seen, right? Bring attention to me. That's her over there. And she's getting that attention, right? She's getting that reward. She's getting that recognition. But you see, the intention was different. So when I see that, when I see people that are attention seekers, it doesn't bother me because I'm very mature now. I understand why they're doing it. They may need it. Let them have it, right? Let them have it. You worry about yourself. You literally only worry about yourself. And it's easy to, because I know God sees me. I'm not caring if the world does or not. Now, if I did, then it'll bother me. But since I know there is an almighty God, and he can see the intention, the intentions matter. It's not about us both talking and pleading. And now he's wondering, okay, who, like both, he knows who means well. He knows the reason behind it. If you believe in such a God, then there's nothing to worry about. In due time, you will see, right, the things in store for you. In due time. So you don't worry, not one bit. Let them do what they're doing. They're only hurting themselves. Maybe they might not think it in the moment because they're getting the recognition, but to believe in a God, yeah, they're hurting themselves because they're not going to receive anything. But worker of iniquity, I never knew you. And they say, well, I talked with you and I did your work. No, you did it for attention. You see? You only did it for attention. You only did it for money. But I read the scriptures and I know the Holy Bible from ins and outs and from the beginning to the end. And I don't even know the Bible from the end, And he says, well, worker of iniquity, you only did it because you thought you would get a reward for it. There was no sincerity. Yeah, but yet, no. There's no yeah, but no. It's the intention. It's the reason behind it, right? Just like a victim, just like if something happens, I'm gonna use my words wisely. I won't use it. Watch my words on here. There's self-defense. Let's just say that there's self-defense, right? There's a reason. So both people are not going to be treated the same. Like if you had to defend yourself and something happened, something occurred, someone fell victim because of self-defense versus a person that just did it just to be cold. Like you hurt this person to be cold, right? And I may have hurt someone because I needed to defend myself. Those are two different reasons, two different intentions. So you want to hope that your God, the person that you trust in, would be a fear God, would search the things within you to understand why. So it's the same thing with this. You're thinking you're being invited because you know all the things of God, supposedly. You speak of it. You traveled around the world. You knocked on doors. You prayed. You did all the things on the surface. But you, to God, never is or was ever going to be considered his child. Because it was all a facade. Like, you're putting on this persona. So, give you that example. So that's why you need to, that's why you don't trust people. You don't trust what you see. Yeah, they're in this seat. Yeah, they got this degree. Yeah, they're a preacher. Yeah, oh, people are flattered by it. Flattered by what? What are you flattered by? Don't be so superficial, I mean, I'm saying as an adult, we're moving up. We're maturing. We should be maturing. None of those things should be even flattering. None of it. Doesn't flatter me. It may look nice, right? Like, oh, that's a nice coat you have on. But how'd you get it? With what money? With the church's money, or what, who funded this? Like, where are you getting all this nice things from? You should start questioning things. You gotta question things, man. And nowadays, people do question things. This is a new generation. They're more woke. They want to know where their money going. It's just the same with me. If I was to donate to some cause, I'd rather be in with the situation rather than just give it. Like, who am I giving it to? Oh, this money is going to Africa. Okay, well, I'll go to Africa myself and give my money out there then. This money is going to the children in the orphanage. Which one? Which one, so I can actually go there and give it to them myself? Okay. That's the type of person I am. I need to see you. I need to feel you. Do you even exist? Where did my money go? Simple. That simple. So that you won't be surprised. You won't feel so disappointed in man if you just would have been just use your common sense. And if you're involved in a corporation, like maybe a church or something, moving forward, and they do require, well, not even require, maybe they do, I don't know, but you give them money, you should have an itinerary or some contract, if you want to take it there, to show you all the things that will be made available for you just for being a member or a fellow in fellowship with them, right? Like, oh, we go on these trips, we'll be doing these donations yearly. Like, what are we doing? What are you doing with this money? You figure out if this entity is like government funded, because if it is, then what do they need your money for? Right? And if the money is for the people, then keep your money and just hold your money until you may need it for when we go on this trip or that, because again, if I'm giving you my money, then there's no need to pay for this trip right. So I need that in contract if necessary. But I wouldn't bother with none of that. Listen, I'm in fellowship with myself. I can teach myself, as you can see, because God is in me. It's very simple. But I understand if God is not in you. I understand if you can't teach yourself. I understand that. And that's why you look outside of yourself. You seek. I get it. But that's why, they say just use your discernment. Be wary. Use your common sense now. Don't just be so trusting. I can only speak for myself, but I do understand. In a humble way, I am fortunate to teach myself. And I've been fortunate to go through such tribulation that has grounded me. Did you hear that? I've been so fortunate to go through such darkness because now I see the light. Now I've been made like mature, right? Spiritually. I've been made awake. Like I'm awake. I've always been awake. When you're going through darkness, you have no choice to be awake. You have no choice but to see such things. You can't just turn your cheek. You can't just turn away. Like, it's dark. You gotta always be on guard. And if it's day after day after day after day, right? Day after day that you lay in punishment or whatever, you have no choice. And that's why it's so easily to train someone when they're a child, because you're a child. And that's how I got it. I got all that when I was a child. Now I'm an adult, and when I'm in isolation, it's familiar. I've always spoken of this. It's very familiar. It's like a friend to me. It's nothing new. So if I'm in the house for days, or I take time off to just relax, and which is most days. When I just take time like with myself, which is every day, if I'm not at work, um, it's familiar. It's familiar. It doesn't scare me. It's none of those things because I'm so used to it. I've been used to it since a kid. I had no choice as a kid, but it's helped me, right? Where it saved me from being desperate. It saved me from calling men to come over, or women, or making friends, or needing those outside things. Now, yes, it would be nice to have company. Those are bonuses. Like, oh, it'd be nice to have a friend or this, that. That's if I choose, but I don't have to. I don't need to. And that's the most important thing. You need to realize you don't need these outside things. You don't need any of it. You just need yourself. And if you weren't grown, I understand if you didn't have that growing up instilled in you, then it may take you a bit longer to realize it. But that should also show you that you need to make sure that if you do have kids, these are the things that are the important things that need to be taught to them. So it's very fortunate that I've been through the darkness. It's very fortunate that I'm in the darkness, if darkness exists. If darkness was always going to exist, you were definitely going to need to know how to handle it. And since I've been fortunate enough to seen it, been through it, I'm ready. I'm ready for it. I'm okay in it. And I say okay. It's not anything happy. There's nothing jolly about it, but at least I know I can survive in it. Versus people that give up. They can't take it no longer. They don't want to. Understanding. Understanding. And again, that's why it's important to train yourself up. Because you don't know how you're going to react in the situation. But if you've been going through something, if you've been training yourself, building yourself up, at least at least with that, you'll know how you'll react. You'll know how to react. And so solitary is not going to make me go crazy. It's not going to drive me crazy. It's actually going to keep me sane. The only time that I have a swirl of emotions is when I'm in my thoughts, of course, but being alone doesn't bring anything but peace. Like, that's it. So the purpose of life is to realize who you are. And that just means realizing what you do, how you react, what you like, what you don't like. What's your passion? The purpose of life and God's will is just learning all of this, being in the midst, intertwined with all of this. And seeing that you can persevere through it all, right? It's still, again, self-realization. Seeing how strong you are, how strong you can be. whether you're a man, a woman, a child, right? That no age, gender, none of those things, color of the skin matters. It never did. You realize those things because those are the same things that the world statistically puts you in to judge you by. To say, oh, you'll never be this, you'll never get this far because of those things. Where God says the purpose of being here is to show you that his way is greater. His way is the only way. Don't listen to what they say. You keep going because he's made you perfectly. Maybe to the world they hate you. Maybe to the world they won't accept you. But you're here for a reason. And you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be here if there wasn't. Simply. My goodness. And you choose every day to keep going. You choose every day to be who you are. The world will try to shape you. The world will try to break you. People will try to steer you this way, steer you that way. Stay grounded. Come back to yourself. You got to come back to your safe space. Listen to yourself. Listen to your soul. You always got to come back, right? Because there's busy bodies in this world. There's many people that are far more busy than me for good reason. So always make time, alone time for yourself. That doesn't mean, jumping on a plane and going across country. No, it just means going into a quiet place. Shoot, if you near a cave, go into the cave. If you could go under a rock for a moment, go under that rock. Yeah. Because it shouldn't take for you to have left it for everyone else to carry this. It shouldn't have took that, right? It shouldn't have taken for only a few. It shouldn't be just a few. We shouldn't be the minority. But we are. And everyone knows why we are. You're the minority because people have chosen what they've chosen. They've chosen where they want to go, who they want to follow. They've chosen the path that they walk, the door that they've gone through. So everybody knows why the minority is a minority. But you can't focus on those things too long because at the end of the day, you still have to keep going. Even if you're the only one left, even if you're the only one speaking, only one on this mountain roaring, you keep roaring. Because that's your purpose. That's the purpose. And life is meant to be purposeful. I'll leave it there.